Uh, we'll have a class today, which would be a sort of review of the work that we have done so far in SQL and PLSQL, primarily because some students are traveling back home. So it would be a review, and this video would be available on my channel so that you can watch it later also. I'll be reviewing SQL and PLSQL. Okay. And during the first, say, 20-30 minutes of my lecture, you should just listen and write and note down your queries. And then when I ask you, you can raise your hands and I'll unmute you and you can ask your questions. All right. So let's begin today's lecture. So I'm opening up a short PPT which I made in the morning for you. Just suggestive that what we need to do. So in SQL, I'll be going like this. I'll first discuss what is a table in SQL, what is the select statement, or what is the group by clause in select statement. Then I'll be discussing about SQL functions. And then the DDL part, that is create table and the constraints, and subqueries and joins both the old as well as the new syntax. Then I'll also discuss something known as views in SQL. This would be regarding SQL. In PLSQL, I'll be discussing the anonymous block, the attributes percentage type and percentage row type. Then I'll be discussing control statements in PLSQL. I'll be discussing cursors, exception handling, subprograms, and triggers. We may not be able to finish all this, but I think we can reach till control statements in PLSQL today. That is the line that I've drawn. Because most of you know the things, but then in a review, you can always ask your questions. Okay. All right. So for that, I'll open up the SQL command line for you. Okay, using Oracle version 18.4 or 18C, you can say. Okay. So I'm logging in. Uh, there's the SQL prompt. We'll start with the clear screen. Okay. So let's begin our discussion like what is a table in SQL. So obviously table is a collection of rows and columns. Okay. So whenever you have some information about some entity, okay, then you can check the entity and its attributes. And when you represent it in the relational model, then you call it a relation or a table. Okay, for example, if you have the student entity, then student entity has many attributes. So you can pick up some attributes, form a relation or a table, and then you can store data, you can create more data, you can update your data, you can join data from multiple tables. Okay. So as in our discussion in the beginning of this semester, we talked of a user Scott, if you remember. And then all of you copied two important tables of Scott into your own accounts. Okay. I've done the same. You can see here the emp table. These are the predefined tables in Oracle with the user Scott. So we extend the permission from Scott to everybody, to public, so that we can practice the basic DML statements and the select statement on this before we start creating our own tables. Similar is with the department table. Okay. So I told you like for most of your problems in joins, in normalization, you should be relying on these tables. These are good tables for practice. Okay. So as the emp table you see has the columns emp number, rename, job, MGR, hire date, sal, com, department number. And we also know that MGR number is the employee number of the employee who is the manager of a particular employee. So let me just set up the environment parameters for you. You already know what they mean. So set line size 120 would give the output in a good width so that the output is not moving to next line. And page size 100 would put a line after 100 records have been displayed. Okay, with only a common heading. Okay. So if I write here select star from emp, you can see these are the contents of the emp table. So you understand, we start understanding the select statement. that it is used to display information from a table. And the complete syntax we'll discuss in this lecture itself. This is a basic syntax, that is select star from M. So when you put a star after select, that means all the columns. If I wish to say display only the employee number and the e name, then obviously we will get only these two columns. Okay, so select followed by the column names would display only those columns. Select followed by a star would display the all the columns. Then we can also give aliases to columns, like we can write emp number as, if I do like this, you can see the output now. Okay, so you can have a column alias instead of the column name, which is the actual name emp number. You can display it as employee number. Similarly, you can display the C name as employee name. Okay, so you can also notice one thing, that the heading will come as per the size of the this thing table. In case of char columns, whatever is the width, it cannot exceed. The heading would conform to the width of the this thing. So if the width of this employee name is say 12, so it won't. The heading also would be limited to that. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our presentation. So we are studying now the select statement. So basic syntax of select statement is select column name from table name, and then it can be followed by a condition. Okay. So we can have this. We can put a where clause here. Where would specify the condition. Where, say, department number is equal to 10. So I'm saying display the employee number and e-name of all the employees from the emp table where the department number is 10. Okay, so it will just pick up the rows from which match the condition department number is equal to 10. So only 3 people are there from department number 10. You can check it with 20. So 5 people are there. We check it with 30. 6 people are there. Okay. So the total 14 records are there from the M table. If you see it like this, these are the 14 rows of the M table. Okay. And then further we have, if we just go to our presentation, further we have the group by clause in select statement. Okay. So sometimes we might need to group our data. For example, if I just mention a query to you here, I'll just add it here itself. Say display all employees, say department wise. Okay, display all employees department wise. So then I need to group on the department number column. Okay, grouping is done on some column or a combination of columns. And how it is written, kindly see. So we write here. Okay, select this, or we can have a select star. Can we have a select star? You can raise your hands to answer this. Can we have a select star? You can raise your hands to answer this question. If I need to display the employee information department wise, can I write a select star in a group by expression? You already studied this, so I'm expecting an answer from some of you. All right, let's ask Anuj Verma. Yeah, Anuj, kindly unmute yourself and talk to me. Anuj, I think is not there, so we can kindly, can I remove him? Anuj, if you're not there, I'll remove you. Anuj is not there. Let's talk to Abhishek. Yes, Abhishek, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek, can we have a select star in a group by expression?
No, sir.
Why? What will happen if we have a select star? See, this is a review class, so the things that you don't know can be learnt here, remember. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's ask Shivam Gupta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Shivam, where are you? Shivam, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the answer? Shivam, are you listening to this class के सिर्फ फोन पे लगा के छोड़ दिया उसको?
Sir, listening, sir.
Okay, then tell me why we can't have a select star in a group by expression.
Sir, because we are already specify employee number and e-name from AMP, so we don't.
No, 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 no. I'm saying if you look on screen that
Yes,
if I
sir.
write like this, see, select star from M,
Yes, sir.
group by say department number. I'm saying will it work?
Yes, sir.
Will it work?
Yes, sir.
See,
Yes.
see, it does not.
Mm.
Okay,
Why? Sir, because
yeah. Tell me why. Okay, somebody else can answer. So you're not participating. Like, what is the fun of this class if you just want to listen? That's not good. Okay, Sejal, you can unmute yourself.
Good morning,
Good morning. Yes, Sejal, Puliye.
sir.
Why this is not working?
Sir, because we are grouping with one entity or attribute, so we can't apply. हम सर ग्रुप बाय सबके साथ नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हम एंड पे कंडीशन ही लगा रहे हैं, हमें एक के साथ ग्रुप बाय करना है और हमें यहाँ पे एग्रीगेट फंक्शन भी यूज करना होता है सर.
Okay, let's have an answer from Guru Simranjeet. Guru Simran, you can unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, beta. Boलिए. Why we cannot have a select star?
Sir, I don't know about that.
All right, all right, all right. So you see, this very basic is not clear. So group by maybe troubles you people a lot. So good chance to learn it properly once again. So while we are writing a group by, okay, we should write only the column on which we need to do the grouping. Only that can be written here. Plus some aggregate function can be written here. Some group function can be written here. So if I am grouping on department number, I can only write select department number here. Okay, so I'm writing this. Okay, so we'll see that there are only three groups, like there are three departments, so three groups are formed: 30, 10 and 20. Okay, now the important thing in group by is that you need to pick up some summary information out of it. Just listing the department numbers is not good. You see, our query was, you can see this query here, it was display the all employees department wise. So what needs to be displayed is important. What we can display here, okay? So we can either display the count of the employees, some total salaries of the employees, okay, maximum salaries of the employee, and so on. So let me just modify this. Let me add an aggregate function or a group function here. One of the group function is count star, okay, which would count all the employees, number of employees from each group that is formed. Okay, so if I run this query, you can see that department number 30 is having 6 employees, department number 10 is having 3 employees, department number 20 is having 5 employees. Okay, and then obviously you can give a column alias here, a count star with a better meaning, say number of employees. Okay, so you can have it like this, a more meaningful information. Then we can also have the sum of the salaries. Okay, we can also have, from each group we will find the total salary department wise. Okay, see this. So the total salary in department number 10 is 19,500. Let's check it whether it is true or not. Department number 10, there are 3 employees and the salary is 19,500. I'll just put a query here so that you can understand whether we are doing right or not, where department number is equal to 10. Okay, I'm putting this query for you. We have just listed the grouping. So department 10, it says 3 employees and total salary of all the employees is 19,500. Let's check it whether it's correct or not. You can total it. See, there are 3 employees. You can total salary 6,500 plus 6,500 plus 6,500. That is 19,500. So that is the strength of group by this thing. Now further you could have another query. I'm listing it there. Display all employees department wise which employ more than say 5 people. Now we want the list department wise list and the number of employees in that department, but I want the listing restricted to department having more than 5 people. Okay, so what we need to do here is, yeah, let's pick up this. Okay, when you need to put some condition on the group itself, see this, if I just run this, it will tell me this, but I want to see according to my query. If I go here, I want to see the list of departments which employ more than 5 people. So if I run this query, it should just give one row, that is 30 and 6. Okay, so how we get that? We put a condition on the group itself with the having clause. Okay, so having count star greater than 5. Okay, having count star greater than 5. So this will list just those departments where the count star is greater than 5, and you can see that department is department number 30 with 6 employees. So this is the group by clause and the having clause. Okay, then we can have the order by clause. Okay, let me just work that for you, the order by clause. So I can have an alphabetical ordering. So if I do an alphabetical ordering, I think Adams would be the first record, Allen would be the second record. So what you need to do here is use order by clause. Order by, then you can write the column on which you need the ordering. So order by ename. See now, by default, when you use order by, it gives you an output in ascending order of the column. So Adams, Allen, Blake, Clark, like this. You can also use the column position. So that position is 2. Okay, this emp number here, emp number is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and so on. Okay, so if I write here select star from emp order by 2, the same result would be there. Okay, the same result is there. Select star from emp order by 2. Now you can also have the output in descending order. Just add this keyword descending, DESC. Okay, so you get the reverse, the alphabetical from Z to A. And you can also add by default, which is present ascending, you can add that also. That would mean from A to Z. Okay, so coming back to all of you now, let's see if you have any queries now. In our select statement, we have discussed it full. Any queries in select statement? Some part of it maybe you have not understood. I can rerun it, but after this you should be clear. I am surprised like many good students are also not aware of this concept. The thing simply is that I think you're not putting much time with your SQL. If you work with SQL on your laptops or desktops, it's very easy to work with. Maybe it's any table. Right now we are using predefined tables, but once you create your own tables also, it should not be a problem. So I'm waiting for your questions. You can just raise your hands and ask a question if you have any problem in SQL select statement. Okay, fine. So all of you are good in that. Fine. Then let's go to SQL functions. Okay, let's go to SQL functions. So in SQL functions, we have the, okay, Shoaib Akhtar has a question. All right. Yes, Shoaib.
यस सर सर जैसे हम एम्प्लॉय नंबर से डिसेंडिंग या मतलब कर सकते हैं
Hmm.
तो वो अल्फाबेटिक से भी तो कर सकते हैं ना सर जैसे किसी के नाम मतलब ए से स्टार्ट होते हैं किसी के बी से
Hmm.
तो वैसे भी तो हो सकते हैं
वही तो किया हमने, ये देखिए स्क्रीन पर हमने ये लिखा सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम हिम ऑर्डर बाय ई नेम। इसका मतलब है जो नेम्स हैं वो अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर में आएंगे, पहला नाम ए से फिर बी से, ऐसे देखिए आउटपुट यही कह रहे हैं आप,
यस सर
ठीक है। और अगर आप चाहते हैं कि आउटपुट अल्फाबेटिकली आए लेकिन जेड से ए आए तो यू कैन पुट अ डिसेंडिंग वर्ड हियर।
सर तो इस हिसाब से जॉब में भी कर सकते हैं
जिसमें मर्जी कीजिए, ये ले जॉब में कर देते हैं, लीजिए जॉब वाइज कीजिए। अब देखिए जॉब्स जो हैं उसमें एनालिस्ट पहले, फिर क्लर्क, फिर मैनेजर, फिर प्रेसिडेंट, फिर सेल्समैन।
यस
देखिए एक चीज इसमें और देखते हैं शोएब, सिंस यू हैव आस्क्ड, सो लेट्स सी वन मोर थिंग। नाउ आई वांट that I should have e-names alphabetically and jobs in e-name and job. Let's try that, the combination.
यस सर
Okay, let's try this. See the output now. Where would you make this thing?
सर अल्फाबेटिक नेम तो हो गई सर लेकिन जॉब नहीं हो पाई
जॉब नहीं हो पाएगी ना, जहां पर सेम नेम होंगे वहां पर जॉब होगी। Got it? Let me just explain this. Let me insert a record. Insert into emp number, comma ename, comma job, comma salary. I'll put the 4 values into the table. ठीक है?
यस सर
Emp number as say 999. Name as Ajay. E-name Ajay. No, sorry. We need to pick up some. Yeah, we need to pick up the name as say Adams. Okay, Adams. One Adams is 7876, who is a clerk. Another Adams we'll add, who is a salesman. Okay, who's a salesman, and say the salary is 888. Okay, this created. Okay, let's now display it. So can you see Adams right now? When I order it by e-name, look carefully. Both the Adams are coming together, but right
Yes,
now salesman is coming above.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because if you don't give any second column for ordering, it will pick up the key, the default emp number as this. So I'll now just again run this. You can predict the value. Now if I run this, tell me the first 2 rows. Shoaib, if
Yes,
I
sir.
run this, what would be the first row?
See, Adam हो जाएगी.
Adam कौन सा? 2 Adam है.
फर्स्ट वाली हो जाएगी जिसकी एम्प्लॉय नंबर 999 है.
नहीं, पहले वो ई नेम पे ऑर्डरिंग करेगा तो ये एडम कैसे सब आ जाएगा. उसके बाद
Yes,
आपने
sir.
बोला है कि अगर 2 ई नेम सेम है तो जॉब पे ऑर्डरिंग करनी है, तो फिर पहले क्लर्क आएगा कि सेल्समैन आएगा.
पानी कलर का आ जाएगी सर.
ठीक है, तो फिर 7876 पहला रिकॉर्ड आएगा.
पानी आ
चेक
जाएगी. Yes, sir.
ये होता है ऑर्डरिंग ऑन मल्टीपल कॉलम्स. गॉट
Yes,
इट?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अंडरस्टूड?
Yes, sir. समझ में आ गया.
Okay. Any other question? You can lower your hand. Yeah, thank you. Any other question from any one of you? Anything that comes to your mind? This is a review class, okay? We are not starting anything new. I'm giving time to those students who have to reach home so that they can, just settle down and we can have a class next week, in which we can move ahead. Okay, fine. So next is the SQL functions. Okay. So for that, there is a dual table, as we discussed in class. There is a dual table. Okay, you can see there is a column dummy and a value X. Yes, Shivam, boliye.
Sir, why we write order here?
Order by
from
is
the
for
emp-
ordering our output in some order, arranging our output in some
like-
order.
Sir, like roll number type.
No, like if there are names in your table, okay. You
Yes,
see, if I just go like this, there is no ordering on name.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
this ordering by default is always on the first column. If you don't give any ordering, it orders it on the
Okay, sir.
basis of First column. You can see 7369, 7499.
Yes, yes, sir.
So if I order it, if I do something like this, now I'm saying display the output, but order it by name. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and that too in alphabetical A to Z. So first names from A, then from B, so on. You can see the output now.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
got it? Chaliye,
Yes.
theek hai. So let's work with the dual table now. So let's describe it first. You can see the dual table is a table in which there is a column named as dummy. Okay, and it can just pick up one character value of size 1. Okay, so if I write select star from dummy, sorry, from dual, so it will display that value as D and X. D is the column name, which is dummy, and X is the value. The usage here is that you can replace that dummy column with your own pseudo columns. Okay, for example, if you need to check on certain things, you can replace it with your own pseudo column. For example, I can write here select round 115.6778, comma 2. So most of you know this function. So let's see what output you predict here. You can raise your hands to predict the output. If we are rounding a number to 2 places of decimal, we can write like this. So this round 115.6778, comma 2 would replace your dummy column, and we can have many dummy columns like this. So raise your hands to answer this query. What would be the output of this select statement? Most of you should be able to answer this. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to raise your hands. Only 2 people have raised hands. Shivam, Bhupen, yeah, Gursimran, Rajan. Good, good, good. Now we are having some names. Okay, so let's ask Rajan.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, beta. What's the output?
Sir, 115.68.
Very good. So you can see the output here. 115.68 is the output. Okay, that's good answer, Rajan. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So similarly, we can work with other arithmetic functions here. Okay, we can work with. So if I ask you to do this, okay, what is the answer now? Okay, Bharat, you can answer.
100.
100 is the answer. Okay, let's check. We got the output here. Yeah, 100. So -2 would mean to the nearest 100. So if the value would have been 150, the answer would have been 200. If the value would be less than 150, the answer would be. So if I put here as 155, the answer is 200. If I put the answer as 149.999999, the answer would be 100. It should be 150 or more to move to the other 100. Okay, Shivam, you can just lower your hand if there is no question. Shivam Gupta, do you have a, yeah. Shivam, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
You have any
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Then just lower your hand, beta. Raise your hand only when there is some
Okay,
question.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the arithmetic functions. You see the round is there, power is there. So many functions are there. You must have worked with most of them. Okay. So if we see the arithmetic functions, we have the ABS function, the seal, the floor, the mod function. So let's work with the mod function. Gursimran, just wait, I'll come back to you. If there is some question, I'll come back to you. Wait. So what is mod 7, 4? Okay, we can have an answer from Gursimran itself. Gursimran, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Give the answer for this.
Mod.
Is equivalent to your percentage of C++ Python.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's 3 maybe.
Yeah, it's 3. The same
Yes,
that
sir,
you
3.
learned, that is 7% 4. Okay, you raised your hand. Any question?
Yes, sir. Sir, variance does not work in SQL.
Huh?
Various function. Oh, variance.
Variance does not work
Yes, sir.
in your group by aggregate function.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's check. Let's calculate the variance. Okay. Okay, maybe it's the full word variance is, I'll just check and come back to you. Yeah, it's variance. You should write variance full. Okay.
Okay.
And then another one is standard deviation. Let's see whether it works or not. I think it should be STDDEV. Yeah. You see, I just changed the data. I was working on something. So I just put the data as, you can see the salary is having the same values. Okay. I'll change it in my next class. So that's why the standard deviation and variance is coming as 0. All right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So we were working with the arithmetic functions. Mod function is there. Sine function is also there. So let's see the sine function. If I write this, the output obviously is, can somebody predict the output? Yes, Salil, go ahead.
Sir, -1.
Okay, so if we have a negative argument, the answer is -1. If we have a positive argument, the answer is +1. If we have a 0 argument, the answer is 0. This is how the sine function works. Okay. Then another one could be the exp function here. See, can somebody predict an answer for this? I'm waiting for an answer from your side. Raise your hands, I'll ask you. What is the exponential function exp1? If somebody has tried, you can just raise your hands. Okay, Salil Chandan wants to answer. Go ahead, Salil.
2.7.
Okay, so e is your exponential log to the base e. Okay, so its value is e to the power 1 is 2.7183. Okay, 2.7183. So let's see the value. It is 2.7183 if you round off. Okay, and if I just make it e to the power 0, the answer is 1. Okay, if I make it e to the power 2, that means 2.718 to the power 2. So that is this answer. Okay, this is the exp function. Square root you already know. Let's check the square root also. Okay, the square root of say 64 would come as 8. So this is about the arithmetic functions in SQL functions. Okay, next we have the character functions. Okay, keep on noting this. You can watch it later in the video also. Predict the output for this. So here CHR function would display the character associated with the sky value 65. Okay, so we don't have any people answering this. I hope all of you are attending the class. Okay, Subia wants to answer. Okay, yes, Subia, unmute yourself.
Sir, A, capital A.
Capital A. And Subia, are you back to Jammu?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, theek hai. That's good. I think your answer is correct. Okay. Similarly, for 48, Subia, okay, Subia muted. Okay, Subia, unmute yourself again.
Yes, sir.
and answer this. What is this? What would this give it as an output? This you see
Sir,
the digits from 0 to 9, they start from 48. Okay, so this will give you a
yes, sir.
0.
0.
If you make it 49, would give you 1, and so on. Okay, similarly, the 32 is for space. You can see the space there. Okay, fine.
Yes.
This is the CHR function. Then next, you can try all the functions on your own. Init cap, lower, upper, LPAD, RPAD, LTrim, RTrim. So if there is any problem, you can ask. Any character function which you want to discuss with me? Okay, fine. So let me ask you then, what would be the output of this? Say what is the output of this? Shelly wants to answer. Okay. Shelly, you can unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Shelly.
Sir, actually, I had a query,
Okay,
but I'll answer this one.
fine. Please answer. Just tell what sort of output would be there. Don't predict the output, but what this LPAD would do.
It will do the left padding.
Okay.
Sir, it will take total 20 characters, including what you have entered, that is Ajay Sharma.
Then how many blank spaces would be there preceding Ajay Sharma?
Sir, 9.
Very good. You can see 9 blank spaces. So if you want to check that they are 9 itself, put some character here as a padding character. Okay. Now you will have 9 stars before Ajay Sharma. You can count them on your screens. This is the LPAD. Similar is the RPAD. It would be on the right. You just use the RPAD function here. So it would be on the right. Yes. Now your query, Shelly.
Sir, if you could please explain two char functions.
That I'm coming up to. That's very interesting. We'll have a good time with that. I'll just finish the basic functions. I need to discuss some date functions also, which you people are not aware of. I know that. Okay. I'll be
you,
coming
sir.
to that soon. Yeah. Okay. So this was the character functions. Okay. Then let's come to the date functions. Okay. Let's come to the date functions. So how many of you have worked with the date functions? Raise your hands, please. How many of you have worked with date functions? That means you work with 1 or 2 date functions. Very few people are raising hands. I don't know. You should take this class very seriously. It would help you. Okay. So many of you have worked with it. Okay. So let's see the first date function. What would this display? Okay. Anuj Verma is there now. Anuj, आप पहले कहाँ चले गए थे? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anuj.
Yes, sir.
Where were you?
Sir, actually थोड़ा सा network issue था sir.
अच्छा, अब इसका आंसर बताएंगे आप? Sys date from dual. क्या करेगा ये?
Sir, no sir, sir नहीं आता.
ट्राई कीजिए. सिस डेट क्या होता है? सिस्टम की डेट
Yes, sir.
है ना? तो ये आज की डेट डिस्प्ले कर देगा. इसमें क्या है? Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now listen, all of you, very carefully. Okay. Let's work with some date functions. So pay some attention. Sysdate usually displays the system date and time. Okay. But by default, when you use it like select sysdate from dual, it will display on only the system date. So if you need to display the time, there is a function to_char. Very important function if you need to extract dates out of your character information out of your dates. So this to_char function takes 2 arguments. Okay, it takes 2 arguments. One is the date or the date column, and the second one is a date picture. Okay, so this picture could be say dd hyphen mm hyphen this hh24 colon mi colon ss. Let's try this. Let's see what output now comes. So when you use this DDMM is clear. MM, if you write, it will display the number as a number. So March is the third month of the year, right? If you want a Roman one, use RM. Okay. So if you want a Roman with a capital, use a capital picture. Shelly, you pay attention. You asked about this. Rest of you also are not very good with 2_char. So good opportunity to learn it properly. Just change the picture to get the output as per your wish. See DD hyphen RM now capital. So the output in Roman, the Roman numerals. Okay. And then another picture could be, see HH24 would give you a 24-hour time. So right now it is 10:18. That's why it is giving 10 like this. If it would have been 2 o'clock, it would give 14:00:00. Got it? If you want a normal 12-hour this, use a 12 picture. Okay. If you want to add AM, PM to your this thing, so just write, if I write PM, what would be the output? Yeah, raise your hands to answer this. If I use a PM here, what is the output? That's very simple. If I add a PM, whether I add a PM or a AM, it will tell you whatever is the current status. So it will give you as an AM here. Okay. Even if you write a AM, it will give you AM here. Okay. Because AM or PM pictures would tell whatever time is at that moment, whether to attach a AM or a PM. That is the time before 12 noon or after 12 noon, that you understand. Okay. Then we have other pictures also. We can have so many pictures. I can use a MON sort of thing.
Sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, in the case of 12 hours or 24 hours only?
No, any time.
AM or PM?
Anytime.
AM,
Anytime.
PM.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay. Okay.
Shivam, lower your hand, please. Shivam, lower your hand, please. Okay. So what is the answer to this? Select 2_char sysdate comma MON. What is the answer to this? I sent you a image before also. Okay. I'm sending it again to you so that you can review. I'm sending it in the group once again so that you have a refreshed sort of thing. This is the pictures that you can use. So somebody should come up with an answer for this. You can raise your hand. Select 2_char sysdate comma MON from dual. No answer. MON is the month, 3-character month of the whatever the month is. So the output is MAR. Okay. Listen very carefully. Whatever picture you give, the output goes like that. MON from dual, capital MAR. Okay. If you go with the, say, the full month, okay, you can see this. If you go with this, it will give you this. Okay. Now I'm using the sys date. Let's say I want to check a specific date. Okay. I want to see the month, a date is, say, this date I want to check, 25th December 2020. I want to check details about this. What should I do? Raise your hands. The sys date is picking up from the system date, right? If I need to check this, what I should do? Come on, participate in the class. Suggest me something. So there is a function 2_date. Okay, there is a function 2_date. So if you want to convert a character expression into date, you use 2_date. Okay, then just put like this. Okay, you can see I'm this 2_date, and then its argument is 25-DEC-20. Okay, let's go like this. This will give you a So okay, I just to make it simpler for you in 2 goes. What is the output of this? Kindly see. Okay, so now this 25-DEC-20, which was a character expression, has been converted into a date expression. Okay, and then you can specify a format also. This is by default, simply you added this one argument. You can make it like this also, to be displayed in, say, DD hyphen SPTH hyphen MONTH hyphen year. Okay, let's try this. See, some problem with the format. Maybe let's check a simpler format. No. So here we need to give yeah, that would work with 2_char only. Okay, so now let's extend this date has been converted. From this date I want to pick up the month, so I'll use 2_char like this. This is my date and I want to pick up the month from it. See it carefully now, all of you. First I was writing here 2_char sys date, so it was picking up the system date. Now I'm targeting a date as 25th December. But if I just write it like 25 December 20, it won't be picked up as a date. So to convert this character expression into a date, I'm using 2_date function. Is it fine? Okay. So let's see the output. We get December as the output. Okay. And if I just make it MONTH, you know the output again is December. So I've sent you all the pics you can try. Okay. Let's try one more with the sys date. That would be easier to work with. Yeah. Say we can work with the we have worked with RM. Let's check from that list. Yeah, full digit year agar dekhe, if I just add this, raise your hands, what it would display? Come on, that's easy. Many of you can reply. Yeah, Shelly wants to reply. Yes, Shelly, go ahead, beta.
Sir, would it be 2021?
Yeah, it would be exactly 2021. It will pick up the year, the 4-digit year. Okay. Now keep on looking, all of you. What would this give you? Okay. Shelly, once again. Yes, Shelly.
202.
See, it starts from the right. So to check this, to understand this, this would give the last digit of the year. Okay. This will give you 1. This will give you 21. Got it? This will give you 021, and the full 4 Y's would give you 2021. We can also add a fully spelled out year with this year. Okay, 2021. So if you want to display a date, say properly, say DD SPTH hyphen month hyphen year. See, 24th March 2021. Okay. The DD, if you use DDSP, let's check it now. Be very careful. Let's check it. So it is 24 March. Okay. DDSP is 24th March. It will spell it in English. If you want 24th, 23rd, if you want to add these, so you can use this TH part. Okay. So हम बोलते हैं ना 24 TH, 24th. Okay. So if it is date is 23, it will say 23 RD. It will pick up accordingly. But the picture is TH. See this, 24th March. Okay. So this is how you can work with your date picks. Okay. Any question, Shelly? You can ask. You were ढूंढना पड़ेगा Shelly कहाँ चली गई है? Yeah. You can ask Shelly if there is any problem with 2_char now.
No, sir, that's all fine now.
Now you all of you need to do one thing. You need to work with the pics that I've sent you. ये सारी आपको समझ में आनी चाहिए. Okay. I'll ask you something challenging about these pics. Some important questions I'll ask you. Okay. All right. So let's have a break. Let's have a few polls now. So let's have the poll. I'm launching the poll. You need to answer fast, okay? I'm launching the poll for you. There would be, I think, 4 questions in the poll. Yeah. Take your time to answer these. Answer on your own, whether incorrect or correct doesn't matter. Answer on your own, all of you. Answer on your own, right? Don't ask anybody else in the group, or don't ask. Just be, free to answer them. Let's see what you get. I'll tell you the correct ones also. All of you are doing good job. Keep on answering. Time would be limited for these 4 questions. The questions are easy. You've just discussed most of them. I'll be giving you another 30 seconds now. Kindly speed up, okay? Because whatever you answer will be a record with me. I'll analyze it also. But I want you to do it on your own, please. Okay, last 10 seconds now. Last 5 seconds now. I'll be ending the polling soon. Kindly finish with your answers. Okay, I'm ending the poll now. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss, I'm going to share the results first for you. You're seeing the results on your screen. 86% of you have answered compute, which is correct. Okay. We have count, sum, max as the aggregate function. 5 of you have answered max. Maybe they are not paying attention. So aggregate functions, we have count star, sum, min, max. Okay. So the second one is, in which of the following cases a DML statement is not executed? The answer is when a table is deleted. Only 6 people have got it correct. Okay. The third one is, what is the output of select round this? So the answer 64% have answered it correctly. Okay. 1501 and -3 would mean to the nearest 1000. So the nearest 1000 to 1501 is 2000. That is the correct answer. Okay. The last one is sys date weight. So today's date 24th March. We just discussed what a single Y does. So a single Y would pick up 1 from 2021 and MON would display MAR. So 81% of you have answered it correctly as 1-MAR. That's good. Very good. Okay. So that was a short poll just to refresh you all. Let's now see where we are. So SQL functions, yeah, I need to still continue with a few SQL functions. We have discussed to_char and to_date. You can watch this video again and work with these functions. Now let's work with some other date functions, okay, which you might not be aware of. Maybe you have seen it, but you have not worked with them. Okay, so just pick up your copy pens and work with me for the next 10 minutes now. Okay, one function is months_between. Okay, select months_between. Okay, so let's pick up the What should we pick up? Okay, let's pick up this. Let's see how you can pick this up. Say hire date, comma, sys date from emp. So from the emp table, you know there is a column hire date. Okay. So how many months are there between the hire date and the sys date? So whatever two dates you give, it would tell you the months which are there between them. Okay. I hope that is clear. Now let's look for an answer from your side. I'm waiting for an answer from your side. So basically it is hire date minus sys date. Okay, I'll first show you the answer. The answer is coming in negative. That means when you pick up the months between hire date and sys date, then it would be hire date minus sys date. Okay, so let's take an easier example so that you can understand. I'll just put two dates here. Say 24-MAR-21. This is one date. And 24-June-21. So this we can pick up from dual. Okay. What is the answer in this case now? All of you should try. Raise your hands to answer this. I'm simply asking how many months are there between these two dates. And I told you it is first date, the first argument minus the second argument. No answer from any one of you? Don't want to try? Come on, raise your hands. Okay, Sakshi Yadav has raised hand. Yes, Sakshi.
Sir, 3 months.
What would be the answer? 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's have an answer from Vishal.
Sir, 2.
2. Okay, let's have an answer from Gursimran.
Sir, -3.
That seems a better answer. Let's check. It should be -3. Okay. So I told you first date minus second. So March to April, April to May, May to June. That is 3. And it should be, it comes negative if the first date is lower than the second date. So if I just put it like this, say, June 21, comma, 11 Jan 21. Now what would be the answer? Yes, Gursimran, can you answer this? You already unmuted.
Yes, I'm going to try.
Okay.
5.
Okay. 5 is the answer, you say. Let's check.
5 or 6.
And see, since there is only one row in dual table, when I use dual table, then it gives one row as the answer. I can also use any other table. So I'm just picking a pseudo column from the emp table, which does not exist in emp table. So it will give 5 14 times. So that is the benefit of using the dual table. Okay. So months between is clear. Okay. Then add underscore months is another function. So you can add some months to an existing date. Okay. You can use add underscore months. Okay. This date, comma 5. What would be output? You can see. So if you add 5 months to 11 June 21, it will give you 11th November 21. That is add underscore months. Then months between you can see. Then another function is last underscore day. Okay, let's check this for you. Select last underscore day. Say, just note it down on your copies. This is important. You've not worked with it before. Yeah. Let's see if you can pick up on your own. So this will display the last day of the month which is there in sys date. So the month there in sys date is March. So this will display the last date of March. What it would be? 31st March. Okay, this is the last underscore day function. You can see, kindly note it. Last underscore day would pick up the month from the sys date and display the last day of that month. Next is next underscore day. Okay, next underscore day. I write like this. What do you think is the answer? So this is basically, it will pick up that from sys date, what is the date on which the next Wednesday comes? What would be the answer? 24th March is today is Wednesday. So the next Wednesday would be on 31st March. Okay. Let's work with the Thursday here. Okay. Answer this. All of you can answer, I know. Raise your hand. This query says it will display the date on which the next Thursday comes after the sys date. Okay. Shivam wants to answer. Yes, Shivam.
Sir, 1st of April.
Be careful. Okay, let's ask from Shoaib.
Yes, sir. Say 25 March.
Very good. So it would be the 25th. देखिए, today is Wednesday. So after today's sys date, the next Thursday comes tomorrow. So that is 25th March. This is next underscore day. So I think these were the date functions which you people might not have worked with. Okay. Let's now work with some general functions. Okay. Let's now work with some general functions. We have greatest, least. So I think all of you can work with this. So if you are on a network, if you use this function, this will display the user ID of the user. Okay, every user has a username as well as a user ID also. So I'm logged in as system. So this is my user ID 9. Okay, then if I want to display the system name, you can simply write select user from div. It will display the user name. All right. Then there is the NVL function which we discussed in the class. I'm discussing it again. Okay, so I'll list the emp table to explain this. So you can see there are salaries and there are commissions. Some people don't have commission. There is a null there. So I'm writing a query. Reflect upon it, all of you. Okay. Say select emp number comma ename comma sal plus com. I want somebody to predict this output, please. That would be a better thing. You can raise your hands. What output will come? Yeah, you need to answer this. All of you can answer this. Okay, let me ask Bharat. Okay, some people have raised hands. Bhupen wants to answer. Yes, Bhupen.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, I'm audible.
Yes, go ahead. You're audible.
Yes, it will show the employee number, the employee name, and salary, including the commission.
Okay, so what would be the first row? Smith, sorry, 7369, Smith, and
Yes,
what would
sir.
be sal plus com?
Sir, 6500 because there's no form.
Fine. Okay, so let's ask Rushikesh. He's raised his hand. Yes, Rushikesh.
Yes, sir.
Predict the output, Rushikesh.
The employee number, then the employee name, and that sal plus com will be combined. Like it will show the total.
So what would be the total for Smith? Kindly check.
So Smith is not. It's a null value, right, sir? So we can't enter a value.
So what would be the output? What would be the output?
Be 6500 until there's no given output.
No,
input.
no. So now listen. Okay, one more answer we'll take. Maybe some other people are ready to answer. Yeah, Shelly, you can answer.
Sir, it will display the total of salary plus commission. First will be 6,500 and then there will be null values. There will be no values.
First, no. Why so? Why so? आप क्या बोल रहे हो? 14 rows would be displayed. The first row would be 7369 Smith. Then the thing is, what should be sal plus com? So you can see sal here is 6500. Com is null. When you do some operation on null, the output is null. So it will just display the total of sal plus com for this, that is 6800, for this, that is 7000, for this, that is 7900, and for this, which is 6500. Kindly have a look, all of you. Got it? Wherever there is a null, it won't be added to salary, one thing, and anything which works with null becomes a null. So I hope now you got the scenario. So if I want that, this should happen, so I should do something like this. I should do something like this. I should use a NVL function like this. So here what I'm saying is that add the commission to salary if commission exists. Okay. If the commission does not exist, replace it with a 0. Okay. I hope it's clear to all of you. So now we'll have the full values. Okay. This is an important function when you're working with null values. So this is regarding the SQL function. I think that's a good thing that people have learned today. Now let's go to create table and constraint, something maybe which you are wary of, you are, you have some problems with it. So let's create a table. Okay. That should be the next thing that you would be doing. So create table goes like this. I'll use this ed for it. All of you are, aware of the usage of editor. Okay. So create table, say we'll go with the student table. Okay. Whenever you're creating table, you should be using different lines so that you can read your errors. Okay. We can pick up a roll number. I'll pick up the constraints as well. So roll number, say number, and then say primary key. So I'm specifying a column and I'm specifying it should be a primary key. Then name, I can use varchar 220. Okay. And I can use a constraint, say not null. Okay. So I'm used to constraints, but I've not given names to them. Okay. There is no name for this constraint. I've only specified that this column should not be left null while entering values. Let's add another column, say city and varchar 220. Okay. And let's not put any constraint on it. And then marks. Okay. Marks we take as number and we say check marks between 0 and 100. Okay. The condition with the check should be in parentheses. Remember this. Okay. And if you need to give, I'll just maximize the screen for you guys. If you want to give a name to this constraint on your own, okay, so I've written create table, I've given 4 columns, 2 constraints I've not named, 1 constraint I've named as ch_marks. You can see it here. Okay, how to give the constraint name? First the word constraint, then the name of the constraint, and then the constraint itself. And check should always be in parentheses, the condition of check. So let's now just run this and see whether the table is created. Okay, this student table is already created. So let's see if we have a create or replace option here. Let's check. So create or replace option is that if the similar name table exists, it should be overwritten. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, it does not work with this table. So we need to drop, if we want to use the same name, we can drop this table student with this command. Drop table student. Drop table is a DDL command. So the moment you write it, it takes place. Then you can't retrieve the table. Okay. Drop table student, table dropped. Okay. And then you can again copy this thing. It should be already there, I suppose. No, it's not. Okay. Need to copy it. Oh, need to just get rid of this also. Okay. Now let's work with this. See, there is some error again. Oh yeah, we didn't change that. We cannot have a or replace option. There is or replace option in creation of many objects, but not in that of table. Okay. So we can see table created, and then we can see the description of this table. So wherever there is a primary key, it will show a not null there. Okay. So we put roll number as primary key. It is showing not null. Name as not null we gave. Okay. Now before we go any further from here, we discussed about data dictionaries. So I told you whenever you need to work with your constraints, you need to work with some data dictionaries. I will discuss them again here. Kindly note so that it's clear to all. There is a data dictionary user underscore cons underscore columns. Okay. This gives you a description of whatever constraint you have put on whatever column or whatever table. It will give you a description of that. Okay. So see how to work with it. Say select. If I just want to see whatever constraints I put on student table, listen very carefully. Okay. Whatever constraints I put on student table, I want to see their names. Okay. So what I should do here is say column underscore name, comma, constraint underscore name from user underscore cons underscore columns. Where, which table? If you just write it without where, it will display all the tables. So where table underscore name equal to, it should be in caps. Whatever table name is there, it should be in caps. That is a requirement of this. Written something incorrectly? Yeah, we need to write it full, I think. Okay. So these are the constraints which we just put. Okay. So maybe I can just rectify it. What's the description? Let's see. 4000 is column underscore name. Okay. I'll just put it a substring here. In our string functions, we discuss substring. This column name is taking too much space. So just pick up a slice out of it. Substring column underscore name, comma 1, comma 40. You can just put 20 also. Okay. What's the problem? Okay. See the query now. I'm picking up 2 columns from this data dictionary for table student. See the output now. Okay. Constraint name on name, you didn't mention the constraint name. So the system generated name is sys underscore C008974. Marks you gave on your own, the name is there, ch underscore marks. And roll number you didn't specify, it is sys underscore C008976. Okay. This is helpful if you want to drop a constraint. For example, if you want to alter your table and you drop a constraint, say on the name column. Okay. So how you do it? Drop, note it carefully. Drop constraint. Okay. Alter table, table name, drop constraint, and then the name of the constraint simply. 8974. Okay. So this would work. This would remove that constraint with the on the name column. Okay. Now if you see again here, this thing, it won't display that constraint. It has been dropped. The primary key constraint is easier to drop. You see, you can simply write here because there is only one primary key in your table. So if you want to remove the primary key constraint, just use this syntax. Alter table student, drop primary key. That's it. So table is altered. If you see again, so now there is no constraint. And if you use a describe here, okay, there is no not null in front of roll number or name. Both the constraints have been dropped. Okay. So this is regarding the tables and their constraints. I think you people have worked with it. You can work with the tutorial sheets and come up with any problems. You can ask me. So any problems from your side? I'm waiting. Anything that you need to ask? I'm waiting for that. No questions? All right. Let's move ahead then. I'll be working with joins and subqueries. The idea is similar. Okay. So let's work with our emp and department tables. So, and let me just focus on a query. Okay, for a join. Display employee info and the department info. Okay, so I need to display the employee info and the department info. So you see in the emp table, there is only the department number. You can see that. Okay, there is only the department number. That's here. Okay, but the name of the department, their location, that is present in the department table. Okay, can you see department number, dname, lock? So what you do is you join these two tables to get the combined information. Okay, so I'm writing a join query for you. Select emp number, comma, ename, comma, department number, comma, dname, comma, location. Location is lock. Okay, lock from emp, comma, department, where emp dot department number is equal to department dot department. This is a query, join query. Okay, you worked with it before also. So what do we require in a join? After from, we write the names of the tables which should be joined, and then a join condition. So if you're joining two tables, there should be at least one join condition. Okay, if you're joining three tables, then at least two join conditions, and so on. Okay, so will this work, or will it give some problem? You can raise your hands. Raise your hands whether this join condition is going to work or not. Okay, Bharat has an answer. Shoaib Akhtar has an answer. That's good. Sejal has an answer. So let's have an answer from Sejal. Yes, Sejal.
Sir, it will have an
Sejal, your voice is
it will
not
have
clear.
a problem because while writing department sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Sir, it will there will occur a problem because while writing department number, we are not specifying that either it is from emp table or department
So
table.
some ambiguity would be there. Good answer, Sejal. Some ambiguity would be there, in which it wouldn't be clear to the Oracle SQL engine that department number to pick up from which table, from emp or department. So if we run it here, okay, if we run it here, it will say column ambiguously defined. So what we need to do is we need to just qualify this department number, either the emp table or the department table. So now it will work. You can see the information is coming from both the tables. Okay. So this is the join. This is also known as the equi-join or the inner join because it is based on the equality of values from both the tables. Okay. Then there are outer joins also. You see in your emp table. Now listen this thing very carefully. Okay. I'll go with both the syntaxes. Say select. I'll just list out this emp and department. You can see there is one employee, Adams 999 employee number, who is not assigned any department. Remember this. Okay. Similarly, if you just work with this, you can see that there are 4 departments in department table, 10, 20, 30 and 40. This 40 department number is not present in this. So there are non-matching rows. When you join tables, these rows won't match. 40 operations Boston would not match with any row of your emp table. Similarly, 999 Adams salesman would not match with any department number. Remember this. Okay. Then if we need to go with an outer join, you see, an outer join is something which is based on the equality of values It will pick up the values which match some condition and also the values which do not match. So it will give you the matching as well as the non-matching rows. Remember, there are 15 rows in M table and 4 rows in department table. Okay. So if I write a join like this, okay, to give the outer join, we use a plus symbol in the old syntax. Okay. So now what I'm saying is display this information which would give you the equal rows. The equality rows are 14, I suppose. Okay. And it says give the non-matching rows from the right table. Wherever you put the sign plus, from there the table does not, the non-matching rows does not come. So here we'll have 14 matching rows and the non-matching row would come from the department table. So can somebody predict the output now? The screen is there in front of you. How many rows? This is important joins, you see. We have discussed it so many times. It's not that difficult for you. This is an outer join because we are using a plus symbol here. It can be used either on the left of the equal to or on the right of the equal to. If plus is used, wherever the plus is used, from that side the non-matching rows does not come. So we'll have 14 matching rows plus whatever non-matching rows are there will come from the department table. So how many non-matching rows are there in the department table which do not occur in M table? Only one, 40 operations Boston. Okay. So let me run this for you. It will have 15. Okay, again the same problem. Let's just check it here. Yeah, M dot department. So you can see the 14 rows which match. The 15th row, okay, we don't have any. We don't get it from the M table. Okay, so from the department table, the operations and the Boston value has come. Okay, this is the query we have just executed. Okay, right. So now if I put a plus here, okay, now again 14 matching rows and one non-matching row should come from the M table. So that employee which was there additional would come from there. What's missing now? Yeah, we don't need to put it here. We put it at the end of this. Yeah. So you can see now 14 matching rows from both the tables and the non-matching row has come from the M table because the plus was put towards the department table. No rows would come from there. This is your outer join old syntax. Now after Oracle 9i we have the latest syntax which is a bit easier to use. So I'll put a break here for 2 minutes. If there is any problems, you can just note it down. So we are having a break for say 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's now work with the latest join syntax. I discussed this with a class which I took last week with you. But again, for all of you, I'm going to just quickly tell you about the latest join syntax. So you could write something like this for the latest join syntax. So when you use the word natural join, you don't use any condition. Okay, you don't use any condition. Just use the word table name, natural join table name. So here all the columns would be coming from both the tables. Okay, the department number is a common column. It comes once. Otherwise, all the columns are also coming. Okay. So this natural join would join all the common columns, would pick up a join based on all the common columns from both the tables. Okay. So instead of the word natural join, you can use simply the word join and you can specify on which column to join. Okay. So you can use something like using say department number. Can you note these things very carefully who are listening to it for the first time? So this is your equi-join using the latest syntax. See, you're not mentioning any condition here. No, you're not mentioning any join condition. You're simply saying select all the columns of the join of the two tables. The join should be based on the common column department number. So you'll see the 14 rows are there. Okay. So you can use using and then you put a column number on which to join, column name on which to join. You can also specify the condition with the on clause. Okay, you can also specify this condition here, the join condition, using the on clause. Okay. Fine. Now one more thing for all of you. Let's try this. Note it carefully, please. Okay. So will this work? Let's see your answer, because previously there was some ambiguity. Will this work now? Will this work? I'm waiting for your answers. Okay. Bharat wants to answer. Yes, Bharat.
Yes, sir, it will work.
So no ambiguity for department number now?
No, sir.
Okay. So when we are using the using clause, this will work. Is clear to all of you? No ambiguity. But what do you say now, Bharat? Okay, let's pick up that one only. Let's write it again. On, say, m dot department number is equal to department dot department number. Okay. Bharat, can you raise your hands once again? Yeah. Answer now, Bharat. Will it work?
No, sir. We have to specify department.
Okay, so when we are using on, when we are specifying a join condition, then this would become ambiguous. Remember this distinction, okay? So when you are using this using, there is no ambiguity. It will pick up on its own, okay? But when you're using this, this is problematic. So you need to make a change here. Here you need to make a change here, okay? You need to specify, then it will work. Okay, so let's now work with the outer joins. That's very easy. Let's keep it like this. M, let's use it left outer join, department on. Yeah, on we are using. Okay. So how many rows in this? I want an answer now. We have just done it. Now this means the word you are specifying, matching rows would come plus non-matching rows from the table which is mentioned on the left. So the table on the left is M. Okay. So how many rows? Would somebody like to answer? Okay. See the answer now. 14 matching rows and the one non-matching row from the M table. Since you mentioned a left outer join, that means the table name which is written on the left. So M is written here. So if I make it right, okay, see the other way around. See now the important thing which we could not do with the old syntax. If we use a full outer join, okay, then what is the output? How many rows? You can answer this. Raise your hands to answer this question. I'm expecting an answer from all of you. Okay, Srishti, you raise your hands. Yeah. Yeah, please answer, Srishti.
Sir, 16.
16 rows, 14 matching,
And 2 unmatched.
and 2 non.
One from left.
One from left and one from right. I think that should be the correct answer. Let's check what Srishti has said. Yeah, so you can see 14 matching, one from M non-matching, one from department non-matching. This is your full outer join. All right. I think once you watch this video and work on your SQL, most of your SQL problems would be over now. I would recommend you working with tutorial sheets. With whatever I've shared, I'll share more. You work with them, you are an expert in SQL. That is the only way you learn. You keep on working with them. Let's now work with subqueries. Okay. So I usually start with the, let's see if I have got a S table here. No, I need to create it. Okay, we can't waste time on that. So I'm writing a query. A subquery is a query within a query. Okay, so we say we have an outer query and an inner query. Okay, something like this. Say select, say star from M where sal is equal to Should be okay, I think. Yeah. So somebody can predict what is the output or what is the meaning of this subquery? Will it work? See, first the inner query is solved. Okay. The inner query is select max sal from M. Okay. So I'll not run this query. I'll just keep it like this so that I can discuss with you guys. Select star from M. Okay. See the maximum salary. Okay. We don't have a maximum salary. Okay. There's some problem with the salaries. Let's update. A quick time for you to learn update also. Say, suppose I want to update the salary of Smith to say 10,000. Can somebody suggest me a command? I want to update the salary of Smith to 10,000. If you can't answer this, it's no good. Should be able to answer this. Just tell me the update query to update the salary of Smith to 10,000 instead of 6,500. Raise your hands to answer this. No answer. All right, not good. So update M, update then table name, set sal equal to 10,000. Where? Now where you should not be writing e name equal to Smith. Okay, you should not be writing this where e name equal to Smith because there could be multiple Smiths in your database. So here you should go, usually in your where condition, most of the time it should be the key. So where emp number equal to 7369. So what I'm saying is update the table M, set the salary column to 10,000 for which employee, whose employee number is 7369. So one row is updated. If you display now, you can see this 10,000. So if you come to that part, this part now, see now I want to select the salary of the employee whose salary, ऐसा कर लेते हैं, so that you understand. इसको ऐसा लिख लेंगे, ठीक है? एक बार वापस इसको जाते हैं, फिर से एक और अपडेट करते हैं, एक सैलरी कर देते हैं 12,000, ठीक है? और एम्प नंबर कर देते हैं 7521. Just making a scenario for you to understand it properly. Okay, select करके देखें आप. Yeah, okay. Now let's come back to our query. If I run this query, what is the output? Raise your hands. If you want to learn subqueries, you must begin this discussion by answering this question. Yeah, select star from emp where sal greater than, select max sal from emp. Okay, Bharat wants to answer. Yes, Bharat.
Sir, it will display third row, word.
Look carefully. Okay, let's, some other people raise hands. You can raise hands if you have a different answer from Bharat's. Bharat says it would display what? Which row?
Third row.
Okay.
Word wali.
All right. Okay. Shelly wants to give an answer. Yes, Shelly.
Sir, it will display no row.
Yeah, that's the correct one. It will
Yes,
display
yes,
no rows.
yes.
You see what you're saying. The result of the inner query is, listen, look carefully on the screen. Select max sal from M. This will give you, you are asking for the maximum salary. So it will return 12,000. So the outer query becomes select star from M where sal is greater than 12,000. Is there any row which is having salary greater than 12,000? No. Okay. Now I'll make it easier again now. Okay. Have a look, all of you. Keep answering. Okay. This query, select star from M where emp number equal to 7369. All of you just look at it and try to answer. See, in subquery, you first solve the inner query. Its answer is fed to the outer query. That's it. Raise your hands. Bharat, if you want to answer, you can answer.
Sir, now it will third row.
All right. Shweb se puch lete hain. Yes, Shweb. Shweb, raise your hands. Okay, Satish also wants to answer. Yes, Satish.
So third row.
Third row, right. So we have a select sal from M. हम select कर रहे हैं salary. The employee number is 7369. So the salary would be returned as 10,000. So the outer query would become select star from M where salary is greater than 10,000. So 10,000 से ज़्यादा salary सिर्फ इसी की है. ठीक है? Okay. Run कर दें. Let's run it. So we get this value. What is the answer now? You can raise hands again. What is the answer now? Look carefully and see. Okay, just tell me how many rows. Okay, Srishti wants to answer. Srishti, you raise your hands. Yeah, Srishti, Rajan, go ahead. Shelly, go ahead. Good, good. All of you are trying. Steesh also. Shoaib, that's good. Okay, let's have another answer from Steesh. Yes, Steesh.
Hello.
Yes, Steesh, go ahead. Steesh, please
Wait.
answer.
Sir,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13. Sir, 12 row.
13.
13. Yes, sir, 13.
एक मैंने ऐड की थी ना. So what this says, again, the salary of 7369 is 10,000. Okay, and the outer one is this query. So outer query becomes where salary is less than 10,000. So less than 10,000 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good answer, Satish. Very good. All right, I think subqueries are clear. Now, what you do, one thing here is subqueries can go to any level. If you join, if you're joining a table to itself also, or if you're joining two tables, you could go to 2 levels, 3 tables, you could go to 3 levels. What I would suggest is we discuss the problem of suppliers, parts, and shipments. That particular problem is in one of the tutorial sheets. You work on that. If you have any problem, we'll discuss it from there. Okay, that is about the subqueries. Okay, so any questions you want to ask before I move to the PLSQL part? We still have about 13 minutes. Any questions? Is today's session helpful? You can raise your hands if it is helpful. If it is a good revision for all of you. Like the people who are not regular, who missed one thing or the other. Now you can tell your friends like who are traveling back home that this video would be very helpful. They can watch it and they can learn from it and they can practice from it. Okay, so I'll just have a short beginning with PLSQL because that would be very interesting for all of you. That's not very difficult also, remember. Okay, so I'll write simple PLSQL blocks and the ones with the tables I'll discuss in my next class. Okay, we'll finish PLSQL first. We'll finish some remaining SQL topics and then we'll move to the theory part, which is very interesting in section 3 and 4. That is also practical theory sort of thing. Okay. Thank you. You can lower your hands, all of you. Thank you very much. So let's move to the, let's open up the presentation, what we have in, yeah. So we have PLSQL is a block structured programming language. Okay. So we work here in shape of blocks. Okay, PL is programming language, SQL. Okay, so we have 2 types of blocks in PLSQL. One is the anonymous block and one is the named block. Okay, and the named block is also known as the subprogram. Okay, named block is also known as the subprogram. So here we have the subprograms, procedures and functions. These are the named blocks. So what is good with these subprograms is that they stay in your account, whereas your anonymous block, they stay on the local computer as a file. Okay, so subprograms are always better than anonymous block, but we can first learn programming in anonymous block and then we can write good scripts using subprograms. Okay, so let's discuss this anonymous block, what it looks like. Let's go to our others. So note one thing very carefully. First I'm writing the sections. So anonymous block has got 4 sections: declare, begin, exception, and end. These are the 4 blocks in an anonymous block. Okay, in declare we are writing the declaration statements. In begin we are writing the executable statements. In exception handling, we are writing the code to catch and display the error information. Okay, exception is some runtime condition which occurs in your program. Okay, So now remember one thing, while you are using your SQL command line to write the PLSQL code, always go like this. Don't write anything here on this thing. Don't start writing like this, declare, then you write something. No, okay. You use something like a editor, okay. An editor like this, very careful, like this, add A1. So whatever you're writing now is stored in your file A1, okay. So this something has already come up, so let's use say B1. Yeah, that's a blank one. So just write here, let's write a PLSQL block, declare. So I can declare A as number, okay, a semicolon here, B as say int, or maybe I can use a float, something like this, okay. And then I can write begin, okay, where I can write A colon equal to 10. So the assignment is given with colon equal to, remember, not equal to, colon equal to. And you can assign a variable here also. So I can write something like this. Okay, so at the place of declaration itself, you can give the initial or the assigned value. So for A I've given here, for B I've given here at the point of declaration itself. So both of them are good. There is no problem with them. Okay. See, I'll be discussing these things very clearly in my Zoom sessions. So good for you to learn them properly and refer to these videos later on. Okay. So a few things I would be writing here, which we might not have covered in the class, because I'm going with, you know, a little more detail as compared to your class. So then I can write something like C colon equal to A plus B. Okay. And then to print something, we have this package here, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. And then I can write, say, I'll start with just by writing C here. And then exception we discuss later. We have already discussed in the class, but we'll discuss it again. Now, if I run this code, will it work? You can raise your hands to answer. If is this code correct if I run it? How to run it, I'll tell you. No response. Are you people there? If I run this code, will it run? You can simply have to tell me yes or no. Okay, Gursimran, Shelly. Okay, Gursimran can answer.
Yes, sir, it will run.
Okay, let's have an answer from Shelly.
Yes, sir, it will run.
Okay, let's have an answer from Bharat.
No, sir.
Okay.
Sir, DBMS output out लिखा आपने बस put भी लगाना.
अच्छा ठीक है. Bharat, now will it run?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other answer?
Sir, server output भी करना पड़ेगा.
वो तो command line पे कर लेंगे. Otherwise, it will run. See, a programmer should be very careful before running, you know, so that the computing time is not wasted. See, we are using C here. We have not declared it. That is the missing part. See, haven't we declared a variable C here? Used a variable C here. Have you declared C? No. That is the missing part. Be careful with this. So we can declare a variable C here. Now let's hope it works. Okay. So let's see it's working. So our code is saved in the file B1. So we need to first get it. One way is first we must set it up like this. Okay. So get B1, it lists this thing and then a slash. Okay. Then a slash. So see, it has executed, but it has not shown anything. This is because whenever you are using dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, it should, you know, the output, if it has to reach the monitor, this parameter should be set. Set server output on. Okay, and then we can run it, and we can see the answer is 17.5. One way of running this I showed you here, get B1 and then a slash to run. Okay. Another way is, if you don't want to list your code, simply you can go with the @ this B1. Okay. This won't list your code and then a slash. You can see the answer here. Okay. One more way is there. Can somebody tell me another way of running? I've told you two ways. If you don't want to list, just use @v1. Let's try this. Load v1. No, load is not there. Execute. No, execute is a keyword. Yeah, run could be there. Run v1, I suppose. Yeah, run v1 would do it in one go. So the easiest way would be run v1. Okay, listing and executing both. Okay, so three ways. First, you can get your code, see it. If it is correct, then run it. Without seeing, if you're sure this, and then you can run it, and then maybe run, and then both the things simultaneously. Let's now just modify this program of ours. Instead of the values here, just let's have the declarations here, and then let's have yeah, let's have something like this. This is for inputting, right? So we can write something like C is equal to A plus B. And we can concatenate our output. We can concatenate something like sum is, then concatenate with a double pipe. Okay, remember this. In your dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, you can concatenate as many values as you wish by using a double pipe symbol. So this line A is equal to ampersand number would display you with a message enter value for followed by whatever number, whatever text you've written here. So let's see it's working. So let's use run v1. Okay, run v1 runs the older version. All right. So see one very important thing here. Yeah. Enter value for number 10, 20, and the sum is 30. This goes like this. I'll discuss something with you. First, it verifies certain things while you're entering values from the keyboard. If you don't want to see them, you can write set verify off. Okay, now if you run, it won't ask anything from you. Okay. This feedback is coming PL SQL procedure successfully completed. If you don't want to see this message, maybe you can do something like this. Let's see. Yeah, if you don't want that feedback, like it should tell you PL SQL procedure successfully completed, you can use this word set feed off. Okay, fine. Now you see run is whatever is there in the memory. Okay, remember this. Now it is listed this. Okay. I'm just putting it just like that. Just a second. Okay. See, run is not a very good way to run your programs. Why? I tell you. Right now, if you see run, this is in memory. Okay. It runs whatever is there in the memory. If I just modify this, okay, A minus B. I'm modifying this. If I run straight, it has not, B1 has not been loaded into memory. See which program is loaded. Okay, remember? So you should go with these ways. Get B1, the latest version, then run it like this. Okay? Or if you are sure, @B1 and then a slash and the output. Okay? So Rupali has raised hands. Okay, yes, yes, Rupali. Rupali, you can ask your question. Rupali, you've raised hands. Are you able to listen to me? Okay, maybe it was by mistake.
By mistake.
All right, no problems, no problems. All right, so I think that should be the end of the today's session. We have already, the clock is striking 11:29. We had a good session. Any questions now? Anything that you need to discuss? PLSQL, we have just started how to write the program and how to do the declarations. how to run the code. So you see, run is not a very good way. Run is whatever is presently in the memory about the file. So if you need to change the file and you run it, then it will run the previous version only. Okay. So use get and then slash or @ and slash. Okay. Any questions from your side? Any one of you? I'm waiting. No questions? Okay, then I'll be hosting this video after some time on my channel. You can watch it as many number of times as you wish. Okay. Chaliye, that's the end of today's lecture. Thank you very much. See you next week in our next lecture. We'll finish PLSQL there in that session. Okay. And you shouldn't miss that session, right? Thank you.